Mwalimu, I have a question.
Can I respond to Dr. Kelly first, then you take over, please? Dr. Kelly.
Okay, certainly.
Dr. Kelly, please go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, Dr. Kelly, go ahead.
I was looking at that where you had that button for word list.
Yes.
But at least now I've gotten it.
Good, good.
Because I wanted to know how you are like ranking those words that are most appearing.
Okay.
So that they take us to the most important documents.
Okay, good. Good if you got it.
Now I'm okay. I'm okay.
Good. The other question, please, before we continue.
Yeah, Dr. I wanted to ask, are there some preset words that Atlas TI has?
These are user-defined, not preset, user-defined. You define yourself.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah, good. So let's continue. I was explaining about the video, and I believe you have gotten it. You can as well continue listening to the video, and if there is any other. Look at that. Look at that. So that could be, for example, it could be maybe when you want to look at the challenges that are hindering control strategies. Maybe somebody has invented something, but there are some political challenges or monopoly challenges. The games that are being played in the pharmaceutical environment and so forth. So that could be something that you may want to put in your research and so forth. Now, let's move on to the next item. Things to do. I've talked of word list, word cloud, code groupings and formatting. Code groupings and formatting. I have quite a number of codes here, and I told you grouping of these codes make your work a bit more organized. They make your work easier. They make your work look neat, and then you make your analysis look good and faster. So what happens in grouping? Now I have, let me just go back to Code Manager, and here I am. There are some codes which I have created here. CS means control strategy. I have some of them which I have identified in the documents, and they are all talking about similar things. WHO recommendations, WHO recommendations, sorry, improved health system, isolation, hygiene, optical strategy, control strategies, quarantine, use of PPEs, and so forth. All those are options for control strategies that has been identified by different articles. So I may want to put them in one group because they're addressing one particular thing. So I will pick all this. You can click one, then you hold down Control to select others. Then I move, I drag it. Once I drag it to the group code. There's group code here, code group here. If I drop it here, it will give me this window. Then I give it that window a name, that group a name. I'll call this one Control Strategies strategy options. Then I create. So in my code group called control strategies, I have 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 codes that talks about that. You can still check more. And by the way, as I said, when you want to go back to the original list, you have to click this icon for closing. Then you will have your original list. If I go through this, there is this item here, this code here is talking about therapeutic treatment options available. It can also be a control strategy. So maybe I put it there also. It might also create its own group. I can create another group for it, maybe. So I'll drag it and put it here. I'll call this one a treatment options. So if you look at this code, it is both in two groups. Group 1 is control strategy. Group 2 is treatment option. Treatment option is where already the disease has infected an individual. How do you get the disease out of the individual? That's what we mean. Control might mean both before the disease infects and including when the disease has infected. For those who are doing disease modeling, they know that. And then possibly I want to check on this one, mitigation strategy. Maybe I want to, this one, what it's talking about, I don't know what it's talking about. If you are not sure about your code, and that can also be very, very possible when you are coding. You might have coded something, but later when you are reading, you're not sure. What are you mitigating? What are you mitigating? Maybe I just open the code by double clicking. If I double click, it will open for me the quotation itself and the item that is containing that particular code. So this one is talking about, in the meantime, the government is preparing to pass. Then I double click that, it will get me directly to where the quotation is. Then I can read that, then I understand about that code. Now, what does that code say? The code is saying, it reads that in the meantime, the government is preparing to pass legislation that will enable the health services to hire 20,000 doctors, blah, 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 and nurses, and provide 5,000 more ventilators and to Italian hospitals. And why was that happening? It means there is something prior to that. Something prior to that was saying, is saying that the system's capacity to respond to changing circumstances has been under enormous pressure, at least in the Lombardy region, where 2 clusters have already emerged since February. That one, we predict that if the exponential trend continues for the next few days, more than 22,500 hospital beds for patients in intensive care units will be needed in only 1 week. So it means it is talking about collapse of health system, and therefore, what should government do? What should happen so that that collapse can be done? So it means it's mitigation on the control strategies, because one of the control strategies is to increase or to have a strong health system. But if that is not attained, what is the mitigation to attain it? So I think I need to rephrase my code here. So I will rename it. So I'll name it that mitigation of control strategies. Control strategies that collapse. That collapse. Oh, good. So, and therefore, if I want to create it its own grouping, I might get some other mitigation strategies. Let me just go back to home, then my code manager, then I can create a grouping for this one. mitigation strategies. I can just call it like that. I just call it mitigations. Create. Why am I doing that? What is it that is informing me about those groupings? Remember, you must also you must have had a plan. Look at our plan yesterday. Look at our plan yesterday. Our plan yesterday, there was something on mitigation. There was something mitigation of the challenges. So I am also focusing on my plan, which I had for my report. So I don't just code because coding is there. I code based on what I have in mind. In fact, I will now call that grouping as mitigation of challenges. Copy, and then I go back to home, then codes, then I will now rename this one as mitigation of the challenges. Then I rename. Good. So when I read that, I know that this one is talking about mitigation of the challenges that we are facing in terms of implementing the COVID-19 control strategies. Now, the next thing, what do? We go back to memos. I introduced about memos yesterday. Memos are very, very important in literature review. Why? Whenever you are reading a document, you must take notes. Notes in Atlas TI are called memos. And I mentioned we have 4 categories of utilizing memos. One, you can use memos to build to-do list. You can use memos to follow up your objectives and research questions. You can use memos to draw ideas. If you have an idea that you want to play somewhere before forgetting, like this evening, I was just taking a team of some participants in another program. And then one was telling me, you know, I have read some good articles. I have so many ideas, but I'm getting confused. That is where Atlas is helping you. Don't get confused. You have the ideas. Anytime an idea comes, even if you're walking, put it on memo because you will need it tomorrow. So memo is going to help you that. Now, number 2, there are some memos that are connected, that are linked to a section of your project. To-do list might not be linked. For example, this to-do list here. This is a memo that is just showing me what I'm supposed to be doing on a particular day. That I will not link it to any article or any object in the project. But there are some memos that can be linked to particular objects in the project, and that is where memo becomes very, very important. Let me take, for example, I want to create one memo for objective 4, talking about mitigation of the strategies. I will create one memo. So to create a memo, I did it yesterday, but I'll repeat it again. I just go to memo manager, and then I get a free memo. I create the free memo there, and I'll call it mitigation of COVID. Challenges. I think I had it. That's it. Good. I have this memo. Now, anything that comes in my mind when I'm reading and I realize that it is touching on mitigation of challenges, I will put it here. You have just seen one that there is need to employ or improve health systems. Otherwise, you will be overwhelmed. Okay, then I save. Now, I remember I read something about improving health system. And what I read was about adding more doctors. Oh yes, I need to link that to this memo. so that when I'll be reading through this memo, I can easily get that mitigation approach. So what will I do? I will just drag this memo, or I drag the code, which is this one here, mitigation of control strategies. And then I will drag it to what? I will drag it to objective, where is it? Mitigation of challenges. I will put it there. Remember, it is now 0, 0, but when I drop it there, it becomes 0, 1. Okay? Of course, this is my objective 4. I need to rename it as objective 4. So this memo, anything that I find that it is interesting to say, that is saying about mitigation of challenges, I'll drop it there. So already I have linked one thing there. So anytime I'll go back to this memo, I can recall about that quotation which I coded. Now, did you know that when you utilize your memo very well, you can even start writing your paragraph from here. You can start writing your paragraph from here, because that's where you have your notebook. When using Atlas TI, please put your pen and papers aside. Write them here. It will be easier for you to relate them and link them and use them later. Here, when I want to go back to my word, I'll just copy what I've highlighted, or I mean, what I've put down. I take it to Word or whatever software you are using. Then I create my document and my report will be ready. Great. So what next? Again, let's go back to our memo for today. Managing memos. It's important to manage memos. There's something I skipped here. I will go back to it. Managing memos. Once you create memos, how do you manage memos? For example, let me go back to home and then memos. And then once I'm in the memos here, these icons will come. But the most importantly, I want you to look at what is already in the statistics of my memos. One, there's one part called type of memo. Then there is grounded, and then there is density. Density is the number of items which has been linked to it. Grounded is the number of groups that has been linked to it. Good. Now let me start by type. Type, you can change these types. You can manage these types on your own. Sorry. Let me go back to my memo. Sorry, home, memo manager. Once you highlight that one, you set type. There is this set type. Set type. It will ask you, do you want to set it commentary, memo, or theory? I'll explain the three. The first one, if it's just a memo which is having a comment, just comments, you will put it commentary. If it is a memo here, the next memo now is the memo that you always know. Whenever you want to communicate something to the next person, you give them memos. Memos are things that reminds you what you want to do. For example, things to do can be grouped under memo. Then theory, if you are building your concepts, if it's a memo that explains your concepts of the subjects you are working on, then use theory. So I will show you some of them here. Like objective 1 is not a memo. I will change it to theory. It's building my concept. Objective 2 also is a theory. Objective 3 is also a theory. Objective, this is things to do. This is my memo. Objective 4 here is theory. I didn't have a commentary memo. Of course, you can always create a commentary memo. Just to comment something, you can always create that one. Great. You can rename memo here. You can edit memo. You can convert memo to document. You can duplicate memo. You can delete memo. You can, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Now, sometimes you have a memo, but you don't understand it very well. You want to explain something more about that memo. So for example, I want to pick this memo here. Now this memo, if I give it to someone, will they understand or will he understand? I need to give some comment, explain something more. Remember, inside the memo contains the document of the memo. Can you assume you have a notebook like this? Notebook. This notebook, inside, I'm writing my stuff. But outside the book, there's a comment. What's the comment? The comment is Dr. Ong'ala. So anytime you find this book, you will know that this book belongs to Dr. Ong'ala, before even seeing what is inside there. Now, this Dr. Ong'ala is what we call the comment on the memo. This is the comment. Now, what is inside is what you are seeing here, the content. Now, comment helps you to describe what that memo is about. I'll show you in a moment. Let me go back to Memo Manager. For example, I want to give a comment to this memo here. I highlight it, then I edit comment. So I'll say, this memo will help me diarize information concerning mitigation of challenges encountered when implementing control strategies of COVID. That's a comment. So I have created a comment for that particular memo. So in case next time I open that memo and I find that it's having a problem, then I can go to the comment. Now, immediately I put a comment. You can see a little yellow thing here. Means that that memo has a comment. That is what we mean by comment. Now, comment can be put anywhere. Let me pick one document which is having a quotation. Let me pick this one here. For example, look at this one. I have given a quotation of WHO recommendations. I may want to give this quotation a comment. So I will just, the way it's highlighted, I will just click on comment here. If I click on this one, it will ask me, do you want to comment the document or do you want to comment the quotation? I want to comment the quotation. I believe now, all of you, you know what I mean by quotation. Quotation is what I have highlighted here, the quotes, from the word quotes. So I want to comment the quotation. So these are these are WHO recommendations. Recommendation on COVID-19 control strategies. Is that a comment? Then I save. If I save it, look at where the comment is. It is on the quotation, but it is not on the code. If you want to comment a code, please, you have to go to Code Manager, and then in the Code Manager, I will have to close this one. I want to comment about this code, for example. Okay, so I will just click on it, then I go to comment. The comment I will give here is that this code explains explains the use of PPE. Explains the use of PPE as a control measure. Good. So that is what we mean by comments. Wonderful. Then I save. So look at where the comment is. The comment is going to appear next to that code. You can as well comment a document. Like this document has been commented, this has been commented, and so forth. Just click on the document and then click on the comment. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stop there for today. And as you can see, we are now getting to the deep analysis. We are getting into the main stuff that you need to understand. And I believe tomorrow we are going to think now on the networks analysis and everything. And then on Friday, we will write a report. Thank you very much. Our time, we still have some 10 minutes before we are cut off. If you have any question, please, before I get back to Charlotte, if you have any question on today's session, please, go ahead.
Yes, Dr. I have a question, not a question, more of a comment.
Yes, please.
I wanted to request
if
you could make a tutorial and record it of what happened on the first day. I know we did not record it, but if you could find time maybe during the day or something and then record it, and then we can use it when you send the other documents.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you. Any other question, please? Okay, thank you very much. Over to you, Charlotte. Charlotte? I think he's having a problem with our network. He's coming and going. Thank you very much for your attendance. I think the communications which was supposed to be done had been done by Charlotte, and see you tomorrow. If you have any, are you there, Charlotte? If you have any question, please, you can follow up with the outside discussion, outside this Zoom, because it's almost getting off, and I'll be happy to help you and assist you. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Good night, Doctor.